Hello viewers, welcome. I Mohammad Sumon Molla Selim, welcoming all of you to Classroom Presents the Tech Talk. Here today we have our guest Raj Navakoti. He is working as a senior QA automation engineer at Seven Senders, and you guys already know that I also work at Seven Senders, and Raj is my colleague and good friend. So Raj, how are you doing? And thanks for your time to for making time for us to join this live session today.
Thank you, Suman. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me for this session. I'm very happy to be a part of it, especially during this quarantine time.
Yeah.
This gives me a huge relief actually talking to people. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Ah, thanks, Raj, for your time. And yeah, like you know that we started this initiative because of mainly the quarantine or corona situation. All of us are like getting bored, staying at home, and most of the time we don't have nothing to do. And I thought like it would be a good chance to share our knowledge with the world. And I think the way we'll like share our knowledge with others today, it will be helpful for the people. And yeah, I know that you are working as a senior QA automation engineer. So first I would love to like know more about yourself, that how you started your journey as a senior QA automation engineer, and just tell us about a little introduction about yourself, and then we'll move forward and talk more about software testing, automation, manual testing, all these things. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. So, first of all, me, Raj. So, I have like around 9+ years of experience in software testing and quality assurance, actually, if you have to say, because those two are different. So I started my journey in like around 2010 uh, with a company called Cognizant. So that is how I started. Honestly, when I started, testing was not my choice. You know how the MNC service-based companies works, right? They randomly pick people
Yeah.
and give. So that is how there was a project and they assigned to me for testing. Uh, First of all, when I was in testing, I was not happy with testing because I always wanted to be a developer. But I adjusted to the environment and started testing it and seeing the advantages of actually doing a software testing. I saw the difference between the developer and tester, actually, how testers can have the complete end-to-end knowledge of the application. And I started doing automation. So that's where actually I fell in love with testing. So I can both have a functional knowledge at the same time I was able to write code. So that's how I decided to stay in software testing. And then my journey continued. Like I been in different companies, different levels of companies. I worked in MNCs, mid-level companies. Right now I'm working in a startup company. So I seen different levels of cultures, work cultures, and I've been in different roles and different technologies. So mostly what I worked on is functional and also performance testing mainly, and my backbone is automation mostly.
Nice to know about all these things, Raj. So yeah, you were working here, and you said that you have been working in India for like maybe more than 7 or 8 years now, right?
Almost like 6 7 years, yeah.
7 years. Yeah, yeah. And you said like that you worked in like different cultures, different countries. So how many countries you have been working for, or like besides India, and how you have seen the like a difference in the cultures and work environment there?
Okay, so I have worked in Indian companies for almost 6 years, six to 7 years actually, because I was a uh, huge H1B aspirant, like everyone in India.
Okay.
So I always wanted to go to US, but the thing is like I didn't had that luck, and the visa didn't, the lottery didn't got picked up. So I decided to go somewhere else, somewhere abroad, to get some other taste some other countries' work culture. So the first country I visited was Colombia in South America.
Okay.
And I mostly worked the last year in South America, like in Colombia, Bolivia, and then I was in Brazil a couple of days, couple of weeks actually. So coming to the difference in work culture, I see it completely an alien. I felt like an alien work culture when I went to another city. Seriously,
Uh-huh.
because it was completely different compared to India and other countries. The main difference I can say it in one sentence is the other
Yeah.
countries actually they keep a very good balance between their professional and personal life,
Okay.
which is very less in India, because we spend more time in professional life. Even in our personal life, also we discuss with our
Yeah.
family members, friends every time our professional matters. So when I went to another country, I see the perfect balance between the personal and professional life. How these guys are coping up with their lives. So then I decided, like, okay, I need to go to more countries, visit, learn more work cultures, and stay abroad and learn all these things for a couple of years. So that is why I decided to move to Europe, and now I'm in
Hmm.
Germany.
Okay. Yeah, I quite agree with you, like regarding the work culture and environment. Like I'm also from Bangladesh, and the subcontinental mindset or work environment, I would say, like it's almost similar. And I can share you like some feedbacks that I'm getting from a couple of my other colleagues who are working in Bangladesh, and most of the time I'm saying like they're sharing on social media that. Before quarantine they used to work in the office, and now when they started working from home, and the work hours have become like more now they're working from home the whole day and sometimes in the night. But here I found that the journey is different in Germany, right? How you are
Yeah.
finding your like work life balance here uh, in this tough time?
I mean, this is perfect. Especially
Yeah.
the people are very open to allow their employees to go remote. So they trust actually. That is the main important thing. In India, if you see, I mean, like as an Indian worked as an Indian employee should not be uh, saying this kind of a perspective. But to be honest,
Yeah.
most management Indian management, especially service-based companies management, they don't trust you when you say like you want to work from home. They are not open to it. They want to keep as much as you in the office and within this cubicles. I don't think in today's century the infrastructure we have, it is not necessary that a person should be working at an office. So these people are more welcoming here, and India is also changing. I'm like I think like India, Bangladesh, all these Asian countries, they're slowly moving on, because if you look at like before 5 years or 6 years ago, it's all service based companies in India. Right now we have so many product based companies in India and Bangladesh working, and they're adopting this new Western style of work culture.
Yeah.
So I think like things are slowly moving there also.
Yeah, I agree with you because I was saying like that the main problem is that the trust between the employee and the workers. And I see that if you can like somehow develop a trust and between these two and also like follow some rules, then I think it's easier to implement. Like we can share like that in our company. What we do is like that we have daily stand up when we start our work day at 9:30 a.m. and we like we always keep ourselves available at Slack or in Zoom, and there's the rules that whenever you are working, you just need to reply to your colleague or someone from the company within 10 or 15 minutes if they are looking for you. And if you are going for a break like for lunch or you just need to relax yourself, you just need to send a message in Slack that I am on a break at the moment, and whenever you start to work again, you just inform us again that yes, you are working again. It's just a matter of like you keep your teammate or your employer always informed that when you are working and when you are not. And at the end of the day, you just give us a simple one or two liner update that yeah, today I worked with these things, and that's it. And you know that here when you are working from home, your traveling time and other things are also like saved.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's focus on like start talking more about like software testing and things like, as you are working for like more than 8 or 9 years now. But you know, like that the software testing culture is not that new. I would say in our subcontinent, there's lots of software companies who are still running and they have no SQA or QA engineer or a specific role. So I would like to know more about that from you. Like what do you think about, like give us an introduction to what is SQA, and how do you think like it helps in our like software development process?
Okay. Okay. See, it all started with actually software testing. So many people confuse when they say like software testing and quality assurance. Many people think they're the same. So the era started with something called software testing. Software testing, in the sense, you develop something, then a person will test it, see whether the required functionalities are as expected. Is it delivering the required outputs or not? That is what the basic definition of software testing. Okay, but the
Yeah.
things when going forward, okay, software testing got improvised. People thought like, okay, software testing
Mhm.
is something, when I deliver to you, you will test and you will tell me it is working perfectly or not. What if you being proactive? Okay, rather
Mhm.
than finding a bug, why can't you prevent it? Right?
Uh-huh.
That is
Yeah.
what quality assurance is. And that is when the software testers actually started to, get in requirement analysis, writing business documents, and participating in development meetings. What happens because of this is, testers will bring their insights, and before testing it, they will bring up the cases of where a defect could happen. So that's
Mhm.
how you can stop a defect, you can prevent a defect from happening. So that's the basic difference between a software tester and a quality assurance engineer. Quality assurance engineer always need to think like, how can I prevent a defect rather than how can I find a defect.
Ah, okay.
Exactly. So right now, software testing is, I mean, like, it's always there, but the shape of software testing is getting affected because of the new software development methodologies we are using, right? So when I started my career, there was not much agile process everywhere. Most of the companies, they used to use traditional project
Mhm. Yeah.
management. So how traditional project management works, you have a separate development team, you have a separate testing team.
Yeah.
So developers and testers never see their face actually. So they develop something, they just share it with you, send it to you, and then a separate testing team will start working on it. But now, as the agile came into the picture, things got literally changed. Everything, it just changed everything. So right now it is like, developers, testers all belong to a same team called development team. There
Yeah.
is no independent developer or testing team. So this is how the quality assurance actually started growing. uh, this is how actually it is working. So this is how it was born, it was working,
Yeah.
it was changed. So let us talk about the future, right?
Yeah.
Let
Sure.
me ask you a question. Did you ever heard like, okay, software testing is dying, there are so many automation tools coming, there would be no need of testing? Did you ever heard of such things?
I would say like that, not exactly. I have heard that like there are like some automation tools, and the testers can use those tools to like test efficiently or save their times. And in some companies, like I have heard also that like they have like automated their testing process fully. But still, I have seen like that they also need some human involvements.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But no one there, you might have heard people saying like, okay, nobody is hiring manual testers, everybody wants automation testers, something like that. So the future, what we need to discuss is, what is the future of manual testing and automation testing? Because right now it just split it out into two streams. Earlier, there is only software testing team, they used to have both manual and automation testers, and they
Yeah.
used to work. But right now, when the agile came into the scope, every agile team needs only one tester, they don't need an agile team. right? So when you hire a person, you obviously look for a person who has both functional and also automation testing skills, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that is how people came into a perspective, maybe I can call it a misconception, where they think, okay, nobody is hiring manual testers. But I don't think that is true, because if you see, the future is all about AIs and uh, robotics and all, right? Those are
Yeah.
like complex technologies. You cannot do an automation on such a complex technologies. You need a human and human interference, definitely. So
Yeah. Yeah.
manual testing is never going to get end. It has a solid growth in the future. Coming to automation testing, if I
Yeah.
want to suggest somebody like whether they need an automation skills or not, I definitely will advise them to, I think like right now every tester need to have some automation skill for sure, because the way agile teams are split into, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what is an agile team? You work on a product, a couple of people work on a product. Most agile teams, they need only one SQA or like two SQAs, right? So if you're testing your product, you can't ask some other person who is not a part of your product to do the automation.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and it is not also advisory, because when you're testing a product, you know where are the pros and cons, where can be the bugs, where you need to do the regression test. You are the perfect person to do an automation. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely, I think like everybody should possess some kind of an automation knowledge for sure. At
Yeah.
least Selenium, do a web testing, at least like doing some automation through Postman, kind of an these kind of skills are necessary for every tester, I believe, even they are into manual testing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that is how I see SQA, I mean, like where
Mhm.
it's going to go.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for your sharing your like feedback on these things, that how these things are moving forward. So I'd like to know more about like that. You were talking more about like the previous traditional software development process, how the team used to work, and right now the world is moving more into the agile methodology. So you have been working with both these like teams or both these environments, right?
Yeah.
So can you just give us an idea or your experience that what is the main difference between like agile or the traditional like development process, and what is the pros and cons we are getting from using like agile methodologies nowadays?
Okay. First, the difference when you say the traditional, we used to, the main two software methodologies on traditional project management would be waterfall and V model, that you might have heard, in
Yeah.
which the process is very linear, or maybe parallel with development and testing. How it happens is,
Yeah.
uh, so when you want to develop a product, you need to do the complete requirement analysis. Once it is completed, then only you will jump into your development.
Yeah.
And when you finish developing your product completely end to end, then only you can give it for testing, and the test, and then only you will deploy to production. So if you see, if you want to develop an application like WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
So to deliver it, I mean, like it will take like 2 years or 3 years to develop, test, do everything and finish it. But how agile changed this process is, you don't need to do 100% requirement analysis in the first place. So
Hmm.
agile works with full uncertainty. You are not certain, you're
Yeah.
not 100% sure what is the requirement, but still whatever the requirements you are handy, you will start developing it, testing it and delivering it. So right now, the market competition we have, it's all about how fast you go and deliver your product to the market. It's not how big your product is; it's how fast you're delivering it to the market. So that is where agile actually works. That is why everybody wants agile, because they want to deliver their product as soon as possible. So coming to the pros and cons of traditional methodology and agile. I will. I won't go on an overall, but briefly about testing. What testing has a pros and cons in traditional project
Yeah,
and agile. In traditional project management, it's a happy life for testers, I could say.
yeah. Okay.
Because the thing is, uh, requirements and everything are freezed at the first place. Okay, so when the development is happening, you have sufficient amount of time to understand the product, to write test cases, to do documentation, and then you don't have a pressure. Everything is predefined. Like they will already decided, like, okay, we will take 3 months to test this. Okay, you have sufficient 3 months, and you
Yeah,
will
like
start
you already
testing.
know like what you are expecting from the
Exactly.
developers and what the software will have, what problem it will solve.
Exactly. So the thing is, like, you know pretty well what is coming, and you're ready how to do it, and
Yeah,
you do it and you deliver it. So there are no much, I could say, delivery pressure is less in traditional, and you have a end-to-end product knowledge, functionality knowledge. What is the product? You know completely what is end-to-end of it before testing it, before developing it. But
yeah.
agile, as I said, like, it is completely uncertain. So the thing is, there is no A to Z requirement specification. There is
Hmm.
A, there is C, there is F. You need to, they will develop something and you need to test it. But testing perspective, it is very difficult. Developers, it is easy because development is not about knowing the functionality. You don't care how the functionality is. It's like what you need to develop to make it work. But for us, it's very difficult to test it because uh, let us say you didn't completed the whole application, right? You just gave me a piece of application, right? I'm
Hmm.
not sure how this piece of application will fit into the product
Right.
because I have an habit of testing the whole product, not a piece of it, how it will communicate and work. Okay, so,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's not sequential. Okay, so it's all about priority agile, which goes first, that has to be developed first. It's not like A, B, C, D. If B is priority, we will do B first. If X
yeah,
is the priority, we'll pick up X. So it's not sequential. So that is how, that is when the testers actually will get a kind of you know, stressful feeling, like, okay, what are we testing?
yeah,
And the delivery times are so slow, stringent. In traditional, you will have like couple of months to test an application. It's not
yeah.
like here, right? So, and you have like 1 week sprints, 2 week sprints, you have a delivery uh, pressure on you.
Yeah, like after each sprint, we have something planned. We evaluate those things, and it goes like piece by piece. Not like we'll do something, build it after 4 months, and then we'll start testing. It's not going like
It's,
that
yeah,
here.
yeah. And one more thing is, see, there is there is some kind of a prophecies. People say like testing is easy, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I will definitely agree with testing is easy. But what
yeah,
is difficult is taking responsibility, right? So when it goes to production, into live, into customer hand,
yeah.
the responsible person is tester. If something, backlashes, nobody asks developer, what did you do? Everybody will point to see.
That,
I'll tell
yeah,
you,
that's how it passed and got into the production at the first place, right?
nobody cares developer. Okay,
Yeah,
see, I have seen days when in banking, when I was in banking domain working in, when
yeah,
I was we are delivering, we are deploying something into production, into the live. Uh, just a second.
yeah,
Into something live. Every time we are super scared. You know why? Because
yeah,
any bug in production, it will come on to us. It will come to us and like, how did you miss this bug? Okay, it's taking the responsibility. It is very difficult to take responsibility. This is the case of traditional project management. If you take the case of traditional project management, the delivery is one time.
yeah.
You deploy the whole application in one time. That's it. But imagine in agile, you do it
Hmm.
every day.
Yeah, yeah, right. Or at least like in a smaller part, so you get the
Exactly.
chance to do
Uh,
this frequently.
it's not like you do retest every time just to make sure. It's not like that. They have a feature, you test it, and you need to say, it is quality and it is bug free, and they deploy it. Once they
True.
deploy it, they should not have any bug in production. If it has it, it will come to the testing team, right? So
Yeah.
that kind of a responsibility is very difficult, and that to take that responsibility every day, that is where actually I don't say it is a disadvantage, because we need to be in rhythm with the agile also. It's not like that. So, but it's a difficulty.
Yeah, that's the like the challenges, because in IT industry in different roles there are different kind of challenges, and yeah, that's how you have to keep going and working on. So yeah, right now, like I would love to know more about about your journey, that we know that software quality assurance is getting more popular nowadays, and in most of the companies we see that these roles are being created. There's manual testing, there's automation testing, there are lots of other things. So how you will how was your journey, like when you started your first day as a software quality assurance engineer in a company? At the time, what knowledge did you have, or how you prepared yourself, and over the years, like what came, and how you keep yourself updated with the knowledge? You can just share your journey, so that like those people who are new in the arena, they can just know that what should be a proper path to come to a stage where you are now.
Okay, okay. So when I started my journey in this MNC company Cognizant, so I
Mhm.
used to work with a huge project. It's a healthcare project, US healthcare project. Imagine, like, I
Yeah.
used to work in a team of 250 people sitting in two floors. All
Uh-huh.
250 people are QA or testing. Okay, I used to work in such a huge project. So it's in that huge project. I used to work in a piece of cake.
Uh-huh.
Only a module. There are we used to be a 5 people team, and we used to test only one module.
Okay.
And I was very good at it. I mean, like, finding bugs, I was very good at it, and I slowly moved to automation,
Yeah.
which I proved to be very good. So my manager pushed me to an automation role. Everything was going well, and especially the thing is, like, I don't want to do a much rework. uh,
Uh-huh.
I see there are a lot of test case design. You need to spend like days to write test cases. So then I started thinking innovative ideas, build some tools which can automatically write test cases. So these are the things I did, and I was very proud and very good with it. Then gradually I improved my automation skills, because the opportunities for automations was very good that time, very very good.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I basically first learned Selenium. So I don't need to, you know, tell anything about Selenium. Everybody knows Selenium. It's like Java in, how is it Java in coding languages? It's like Selenium in automation tools. Okay, it's like
Uh-huh.
mother automation tool. So I started with Selenium, and then I also learned other tools like UFT and SOAP. And I gradually thought, like, okay, I was doing the same task again and again. I need to find something different. That is
Yeah.
where I found mobile automation. So
Uh,
that time mobile automation is just starting to boom. So then
okay.
I couldn't able to find an opportunity in the same company. Because in service based company it is very difficult to move from one project to one project, or change your
Yeah.
technology, because they don't want to let you go to other project when you have an experience. That is where I have moved to a company called Accenture,
Uh-huh. Okay.
where they gave me a mobile automation testing opportunity, and I used to work as an Android mobile automation tester.
Okay.
So that is how everything was going well. Then I started to look for abroad opportunities, and this
Okay.
is where my life actually changed. An interview that I took,
Yeah.
uh, that actually changed my life completely, because I, I I attended several service based company interviews, and I cracked every time, and I was good at it. Then
Mhm.
at one point of time I got an abroad opportunity, and I had an interview with a person on Skype. So
Okay.
this guy was very different from the other interview persons. Okay, so this
Okay.
guy basically asked me one question, right? Which database are you using? I said, like, we are using Cassandra database. And he
Okay.
asked me, why do you guys use Cassandra database?
Okay.
And I was like, okay,
I
so
don't
why
know.
do you use Cassandra database? And it's not, it's the, I mean, like, it's the only one question I gave it to you, but he asked me like several kind of questions like that. Like, he literally asked me, like, okay, uh, when you're testing, you go to a website like https facebook.com. So what happens when you type http facebook.com in backend? I was like, I do
Oh,
automation, but I don't know what happens in
yeah,
the background.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I felt very, uh, very shameful actually,
Uh, okay,
to be
yeah,
honest.
that I'm working for like
Yeah,
a long time and I don't know these basic things or never thought about to know about these things.
because my perspective of learning, my perspective of knowledge, was very proud of it because I was an expert automation tester, mobile automation tester. I know everything. The thing is, that is the main problem with the big service based companies, right? So
Yeah,
you are a person in a millions of people. Okay, the thing is, the knowledge you learn is very small because of that.
yeah.
Then I thought, okay, maybe it's time for me to go to a smaller company to
Mhm.
expand my knowledge. Then I joined a company called Quantal. It's a mid-sized company,
Mhm.
more than a startup actually, but a very well-established company. They gave me an abroad opportunity also. I went there. Then that is a place where I actually learned everything. So if I want to advise something to the people in your testing, guys,
Yeah,
don't just learn testing. Testing is not just functional learning how to test it, but to learn what are you testing it.
yeah.
So you need to learn if there is a database that you're testing, why your company is using that database, what kind of different integrations they are using, why are you using those integrations, which web services they are using, how the backend works. Like,
Mhm.
so many, if you go to an MNC testing guy who is working in MNC and ask them, okay, what is a Docker? They don't know what is a Docker. uh,
Mhm.
I don't know whether right now they know it or not, but the time I was working, because in an MNC companies they don't look at logs and stuff and all. What they do basically is, there is a defect, they'll report a defect.
Yeah.
Very few people look into logs, think about what is a Docker, what are web services, how it works in the backend. So that is the advantage that I seen working in a small company.
Mhm.
Whatever I learned in 6 years is equal to whatever I learned in 1 year in a small company.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, go.
Yeah, so like your suggestion is like for the newbies that they should ask more questions and they should not like think that the developers are developing it and they are using all these tools and we don't need to know much deeper into these things. We test, so that's only for us. But as per your suggestion, like it would be better to like know more about like why the developers are choosing these technologies, what's are pros and cons, and yeah, that would be like give them more knowledge about the whole software development process, I think.
Exactly. You need to ask questions. You need to like, what am I testing? Why I was testing? Why our company is using these technologies?
Yeah.
What is the differences? Those kind of a things you literally need to learn. That is how you can only expand your knowledge. And the second suggestion I also want to give is, the domain knowledge is very important.
Yeah.
So for example, you're working in healthcare, don't just sit and learn what is your application. Learn the complete domain. For example, you're working in healthcare, you
Yeah.
learn the complete healthcare structure. You're in telecom, learn telecom. It is not necessary for developers but testers. It is very very important. The domain knowledge is very important. So these two are my advices to the people who are in an upcoming QA career.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I agree with you because like when we are developing something and also a like tester, when you are testing something, you need to know actually the like a small bits of the software and actually what problems you are solving. And without like domain knowledge, it's very tough to know like that what how the solutions will work. And yeah, I really agree with you in this part. And here I have a like interesting question to you, like that you were saying about your journey. Like at first I want to know like that why you have decided like to choose this profession, and at that time what was your goal, and do you ever think about like moving into any other profession or roles? What was like your experience on this?
First of all, I didn't choose this profession, software testing,
Okay.
as I said, because when I joined the MNC companies, the thing is, everybody MNC companies, how they hire is they hire in bulk.
Yeah.
Okay, they hire like 2,000, 3,000 from the college. So that is how I got selected. So once they selected, I want to be a developer. But the thing is, they randomly select people.
Mhm.
So they'll think like, okay, we have this project in shelf. How many people we have? Okay, 13 people. We need 13 testers, and they'll just make you a software tester. So that is how they just pushed me to testing. But I personally went and spoke to the HR that I'm really interested in software development.
Okay.
But the HR told me like, no, 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 software development, testing, all are the same. You can start your career because that's what their job is, to manage people. And when you just join the project, work, and then you can simply move to development. Then I just joined and started testing, hoping that I will move to development. I tried even moving to development, but
Okay.
latter point of time, when I
Yeah.
started automation testing, I felt it is not necessary to a developer, because when you're doing automation, you get both testing and developing skills.
Yeah.
So that is why I decided to stay in software testing. And if you're asking me whether I'm trying to move to some other functional skill set, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, because right now I'm planning to move to production product skill set actually.
Okay.
Because see, right now in even I wrote an article on Medium.
Yeah.
Uh, the problem right now is in agile, at some point of time after a role, there is no role in QA that you can grow. For example, if you are working in a big MNC company,
Yeah.
after QA lead, QA manager, you can move to senior project manager or domain manager or line manager, some kind of a roles. But if you're working in a small company,
Yeah.
uh, definitely in no, the growth is difficult after a certain position. Okay, and also I'm very much interested to move to product, because the last time when I worked in Colombia,
Yeah.
I had a huge relationship and interaction with the client, face to face interaction actually. And we
Okay.
really used to work on business requirements. Business, I used to talk to the people, write requirements, write user stories. Then I really felt, okay, this is the maybe next role I need to look into. So that is where I decided either I need to move to a business analyst role or a product role.
Mhm.
So I'm preparing myself. Completed recently my product certification.
That
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, that is how I'm planning to move.
Okay. Yeah, all the best for you in that like journey. And here I would like to know more about you were saying that you wanted to be a developer, but later you keep continue working as a QA. So do you think like that? How much programming or coding knowledge a QA should have, or how should they proceed, and what kind of balance will they need? And another thing is like that. Do you ever need to like do any kind of coding or work with developers, and how things goes? Like sometimes you know that you say that this is not working, this should be how it work, and the developer says that no, the technology or tools we are using that doesn't support these things. So how do you handle these things?
Okay. So coming to the coding knowledge that the software tester should have at
Yeah.
the level, for example, let us say Java,
Uh-huh.
you to work on Selenium and all, you just need core Java knowledge is enough for you.
Okay.
Because for my experience, I think it is more than enough core Java knowledge. You go to interviews and people sometimes ask you what is an interface and abstract class.
Yeah.
Because I used to ask the interview person, did you ever use an interface in your abstract class in your automation testing? Very few will use an interface.
Yeah.
So it's more into development actually. You don't need much use of interfaces and abstract classes usage in automation testing. So the normal core Java language is much more enough to manage uh, your automation. but you can always improve your coding, because the much more you improve the coding knowledge, the much better you can make your framework, automation framework.
Okay. So
Because
you are saying like that if I want to like do automation testing, then I will have to like gain knowledge on programming. But if I like keep continue doing manual testing, then what will be the like goal of uh, learning coding or programming? Or do I really need to learn that?
you need to, I mean, like, it depends upon which tools you want to use. For example, we have this new tools called Cypress. These things, these have some UI kind of record playback, and you can just record your automation scripts and you can do it. But still, the automation didn't grow in such a level that you don't need to write code at all.
Mhm.
And 85 to 90% of the automation tools that the industry is using mostly require to do some coding, to build some automation framework. So I think, like, right now, definitely, you want to move to automation. It is good to learn some programming language. It's not necessary like you need to learn a particular language, but some particular coding skills you need to have.
Like the basics of coding programming, like the
Yeah,
variables,
yeah.
constants, and other things.
Exactly. I mean, like, if you have a simple core Java knowledge, that is
Yeah.
enough to move to. Because I moved from different language. I moved from Java. I moved to Python. I moved
Yeah.
to Right now I'm working in Groove and Scala, because
Mm.
the automation is in such a way you don't need an extensive advanced level of programming language, right?
Okay.
So only
Yeah.
advanced, if you go to advanced level of programming language, then only you have a difficulty to switch between programming languages. Otherwise, if you go stick with the basics, you can move to easily between any programming language.
Yeah, but like it doesn't take much time to learn a new language, and the concepts are same. You just need to learn the syntax.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Can you like share more about like the tester mindset? That sometimes I hear that testing is more about like how much your mindset is like know about the product, and what's your like methodology? How do you like define your when you are like testing a solution? What's your methodologies that you use, and how you like grew up your mindset?
Look, for me, there are two basic things you need to set up in your mindset as a tester or a
Yeah.
quality engineer. Okay, the two things
Mhm.
mainly are, first of all, always try to think like an end user.
Okay.
Always try to think like an end user. When you're testing, you need to step into the shoes of an end user. Think like an end user. For example, you're testing a banking application.
Yeah.
So when an end user uses this banking application, sits before this application, how he would think, what kind of mistakes he might done. Okay,
Mhm.
where can the application go wrong? So that is how you need to think. That is really important, working thinking like an end user. Okay, the
Yeah.
second important thing you need to set up in your mindset is always prevent.
Uh-huh.
Okay, don't try to find a bug, try to prevent the bug. Okay, so what you need to do is, just don't sit that developer will develop it, then he give it to me and I will test it. No, you should not do that. You should always participate right from the requirements. In agile, you go to the sprint planning meetings, right? Your product owner or a product manager will explain about the user story, how it works, right? So
Yeah.
many people don't go to a sprint planning meeting, many testers, because they think, okay, we don't need to give any inputs because it's more developer perspective. But you need to go, and you need to tell the product manager or product owner, where can this requirement go wrong, what are the gaps. So
Mhm.
requirement gap is also a bug. Okay,
Uh,
so your job always starts from requirement analysis, development, and then it comes to testing. And your perspective of testing should always be prevent the bug. Okay, as much as you can, you try to prevent the bug. So those two are the important. There are a couple of things, but these
yeah.
two I really want to highlight as a mindset of a software tester.
Uh-huh. So, like from your second point, I understand that like most of the cases, like the tester may think that the requirements we are getting from the like the features that have been developed by the software or the requirements that is coming from the let's say stakeholders, we only need to test those things. But from your perspective, it's also necessary that you also give your input and find out the edge cases and other things, right?
Yeah, actually, because see, it is time consuming, right? For example, you don't
Yeah.
participate in the requirement analysis. You just sit
Mm.
until it's developed and it, they exchange it with you for testing. Until that, if you wait, if there
Yeah.
is a requirement gap, then you will find it. Then again, it will go to the step one, right? It goes to the product manager, then it goes to developer, then it comes to testing. It's time taking,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it also an mundane task. Okay, and so that's why you always need to participate in requirement analysis, especially in agile,
Mhm.
because the developers, they don't keep the complete track of how the application is getting built. They always think about, okay, this is the future we need to develop. Okay, but the tester is the person who actually has the product manager and the tester
Yeah.
are the only two person who has a complete uh, overall knowledge of the product, how it is getting built. Okay, so
Mhm.
you always need to participate in requirement analysis and see what gaps you can find out, how you can prevent them.
Yeah. And for that, like I think like you already suggested that the domain knowledge is very necessary. So in whatever like industry you are, you have to first gain knowledge about that industry or the solutions that your team or company is working on. Because if you don't gain those knowledges, you will not be able to like provide your 100% or give input there, right? So that's also necessary like that to keep gaining more and more domain knowledge if you want to like be a good QA, right?
Yeah, because the first point that I told you is being think like an end user, right? How can you think like an end user if you don't know the business? If you
Hmm.
don't know about anything about banking, how it
Yeah.
works, and you, I mean, like, it's a piece of functionality, but this piece of functionality is connected to so many things, other functionalities. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that what does it mean? Overall, it's the domain. So you have to know the domain knowledge. If you have to think like an end user, you have to know the domain knowledge.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So here I would like to know like there's one question from the audience that you can also I guess see that can you please share some guidelines for manual testers who wants to like move from manual testing to automated testing? So what should be the path or like what should be the way? Is there any specific time frame or how was the transition for your case?
Okay. So if you are planning to move from manual testing to automation testing, first
Yeah.
of all, check within the company, do you have any automation uh, testing tools in use or not, first of all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if there is an automation tool already your company is using, it would be easier for you to learn.
Okay.
Okay. See, basically, you need to first learn some basic knowledge in the sense the basic programming knowledge and
Yeah.
basic automation testing skills. All
Mhm.
automation tools work in certain kind of a same manner they follow. Okay.
Yeah.
It comes to finding an element or making some actions on the element. It can be web, mostly on web application or mobile application, it's the same. So the
Mhm.
basic programming knowledge and basic automation knowledge is needed, first of all. Okay, how you can
Mhm.
get the basic coding and basic programming knowledge? First of all, look into your company whether they are already using some automation tool, then learn from them and try to execute and implement from them. If your company doesn't have any automation and you are the person who has to learn independently, then I suggest pick up a programming language, anything. Okay,
Mhm.
but don't go to because when people look for programming languages, okay, most people will come across Scala or some kind of different programming language and they want to go. No, no, go
Yeah.
to either the basic, very well known, very well established programming language like Java, Python. Mostly go for Java and Python. Learn basic core Java. Pick up a tool like Selenium. Okay, and you have so many YouTube tutorials. Okay, because 6 years back when I started automation testing, there are no online tutorials or anything. Okay, so what I used to do is I used to read this PDF documents, Selenium documentation. It is very difficult for me to do it, but right now you have so many people on YouTube with complete tutorials. Okay, so pick up an easy tool, pick up an easy programming language, learn basics first of all. Okay, then once you learn basics, then you just practice a little. Okay, then look for your career right now. For example, which automation testing you want to move to your career? It is web application or mobile automation. Okay, because you have so many web automation testers right now, but there are less number of mobile automation testers and there is so much of demand. Okay, then look for which automation stream you want to go. Okay, then go to that automation stream, practice more, and try to find a job or like implement some kind of an automation in your same company. Okay, so the steps should be basic programming language, basic automation tool, anything which you can learn much faster. Then choose a career, whether mobile automation tester or performance automation testing or mobile automation testing. You choose a career, then shift to that career, then learn some tool and practice it, and always try to pick up the open source tools. Test automation has several number of open source automation tools. Okay, so don't go to licensed automation tools, go to open source automation tools. Try to explore more. Try to you just need the documentation. Every tool has a documentation. Just give me a second, I'll just switch on the light. I think like I was continuously talking and I forgot to switch on the light.
Yeah, sure. You just take some time to turn on the light. Yeah. So yeah, like from automation, and there's also like kind of similar kind of question that what would be like your suggestion, or as a starter, like that you start working in a small company and gradually learn the things, and what will be the like learning opportunities there, or you just start learn if you start like in a big company, and will it like have impact in your learning journey, or it would be less effective, or what's your opinion on that?
I think like learning is very affected the size about the size of the company. Okay,
Okay.
my personal belief and opinion, small companies you have more scope to learn.
Okay.
Because the thing is, when you're working in a small company, you have all the availability to explore.
Yep.
Right, people won't stop you to learn a technology, and you can learn quickly, and as you have a less number of people also, you can communicate much better with them. So I think like learning perspective, the small companies, if you want to really learn and grow your career, I definitely advise you to go to a smaller company. Because because small, what is a small company? A small set of people working in a single product. So as you're working in a small company, you get the knowledge of the entire product.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you go to an MNC company, it's a big company, one product, there are hundreds of people working, and how much you can contribute in it? Very little. So that is why your learning always depends upon the size of the company. And I personally believe whoever they want to learn faster and much better, always choose a smaller company.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Like if I like share some my journey from my experience, like I always choose to work with a startup companies from the very beginning of my career, because I have also found like that in a startup your focus only thing, and most of the cases it's because it's much easier for you to like give your inputs, give your feedbacks, and also learn something from the scratch. You build something from the scratch, you know the details, things, deep knowledge about it. But when you work on like maybe it's already big, so you become part of it and you know like only a small portions of it. So
Exactly. I told you the example, right?
yeah.
We are using Cassandra database from like 1.5 year. I don't know why why our product is using Cassandra database. So that is what you learn in a smaller company. You know, you don't only learn testing, you learn technologies. I mean, like the faster career growth, chances and everything. I think like it is always better to go a smaller company.
Mhm. Okay. So what's your take on like that the junior or senior engineers or like mainly quality assurance engineers who are working right now, if they want to like work for a big company or they want to move out of the country, maybe in countries like Germany or other European countries, like how they should prepare yourself. And one thing you also like share that whether only technical knowledge is necessary and how much communication and other skills is also necessary to land a job like in abroad.
Okay. So when you talk about abroad, let us differentiate. I mean, like going to US and going to Europe countries are completely two different set of chances, right?
Ah,
So if
okay.
you want to go to US, for example, you are an US aspirant, okay? I
Mhm.
prefer you to choose an MNC company
Uh-huh.
because they have an H1B process, especially for us. Okay, I'm not talking
Mhm.
about a global audience, especially for Indians, Bangladeshis, and
Subcontinental.
Pakistanis, our subcontinental people. We need a H1B visa or an L1, which only can be afforded by big companies. Even small companies can do, but still, big companies has their big share in the visa market actually. So I
Mhm.
think like if you're a US aspirant, I definitely would suggest you to go companies like Infosys, TCS, or Tech Mahindra, such kind of companies, big MNCs who has a big share. But let's say if you want to go to an European country, still
Yeah.
two things come into play. Either you work in a big company like MNC, they have also
Mhm.
projects, they will also send you to Europe. But if you want to individually go to an European country or some other countries, maybe New Zealand or Australia or something, as a software tester, I say it is difficult compared to developer. Okay,
Mhm.
because the point is, we all need to agree one simple thing. Okay, people think testing is simple, and yes, it is a bit simple compared to development because you don't need to find a technical person to do a testing job. For example, in Europe, okay, you don't need a technical person. You can just a person from any background, you can just uh, hire him, and you can train him on software fundamentals and methodologies, and he can easily start testing the application. I'm not saying other persons can't do development, but people can learn testing more faster than development
Develop.
because testing is more theoretical, right?
Yep.
It's all mindset, as we discussed. Okay, you need to set up a mindset and you can do it. But development, it is different. You need to learn coding, and some people it is kind of difficult. So
Yeah.
abroad people, it is easy to find testing persons. Even they can hire people from a different skill set or different work background, and still they can hire him as software junior software testers, and you know can adjust with them.
Mhm.
So if you are really want to go to an abroad individually, if you want to try, then you need to put more effort compared to developers. So what kind of an efforts you want to keep? You definitely need to learn automation. I didn't see any opportunity, any company hiring
Mhm.
an Asian, especially Indians, Bangladesh, and Pakistan,
Mhm.
who came from purely manual testing background.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
because it's not needed for them to hire it. They can find it anywhere. So they definitely will look for automation background. You need to possess automation background if you individually want to go try for another country. Okay, and how much of automation is required? You need pretty much of skills. It's
Mhm.
not like only Selenium or only Java you can easily land a job. Okay, try to get several automations, not in a single functionality. For example, uh, develop an functional automation testing knowledge like Selenium, non-functional testing automation like performance testing like Gatling or load runner, something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
spread your technical skills and improve your domain knowledge. Domain knowledge is very important. For example, if there is a banking company out there, okay,
Yeah.
they need the person who has a very core survey, core banking knowledge. Okay, that is also very important. And third thing, very important, which abroad people look is certifications. Okay,
Mhm.
many Indian companies, they don't look for certifications. Usually they look for experience. You can't just show your certification and get a job, but here they are very particular about certifications. Try to do ISTQB certification in testing. Try to do some automation certifications. Okay, it would be much better to keep it in your curriculum. Okay, these are the four things you need to uh, learn and possess. And last, what you need is
Yeah.
the structure of interview of abroad companies is different than Indian companies. We need to
Yeah.
keep it in mind. Okay, because in abroad companies, how they will assess your skills is they'll give you a task and they will make you do it. Okay, and when they ask and do it and they want to be done in end-to-end perspective, they will see how much how clean is your code,
Mhm.
how proactive and improvised is your code, your skills and everything. They will look at it. And also the interview perspective, when they're doing it, is very interactive. They don't ask the random, top
Mhm.
100 software testing questions. They don't pick ask such
Yeah.
kind of a questions. Okay,
Mhm.
they ask real time questions. If you don't have a real time experience, if you just learned automation tool from some YouTube channel and all, and you go for an interview, I definitely think you can't crack it. So
Uh-huh.
they come up with some real time questions. The they You have a face to face conversation on Skype. They will give you a real time scenario. They'll share the screen or some tool to fix it on real time, to do the automation. And how do you do it, how do you test it? So you always need to possess ready for real time questions from your experience. And communication skills is really important. When you go to an Indian interview,
Mhm.
they don't really look whether you will cope up with their team.
Ah.
This guy will fix into your team, or they don't. They mostly look into, okay, this guy possesses the technical skills, okay, he is good with English communication skills, okay, we can hire him. But abroad companies are very particular that this person will will cope up with my team or not. That is why the last round will always have their team sitting with you and talking to you. Unless you can't please the team and make sure, like, yeah, I am the person who you can work with, you can't give that feeling to them, they don't hire you. So these are the things you really need to keep in mind if you are looking for a job abroad, searching it individually, not through a company.
Mhm. Yeah, like the last point that you said, I like very much agree with that part, that whether how much technical knowledge you have, whether you are a very good programmer or not, if you have all the qualifications that the job requires, but at last stage, like being a very good fit on the team is very much necessary, because they really care about the work life ethics and culture, and how you will communicate or like mix up with your colleague. So it's really important. And in some the maybe in most of the cases in the last round interview, as like Raj said, that they were try to find out that yeah, this person is like enough skilled for our requirement. They just try to find out that whether you will fit into their work culture or team or not. So there you also have to be like very much confident about yourself, and you have to also represent yourself in a way that yeah, I can be your colleague, that's what you are looking for, and we can work together great. So these things are also important. So yeah, and here I want to like Raj ask you one more questions that I have got like that. Uh, One moment. Yeah, like in let's talk about like the current scenario that like because of the corona pandemic, the lots of industries are changing, and we are expecting that the world will not be like same as it was before. So what's your take on that? That what like changes or things we might see after the like this corona pandemic?
Um,
Will there be like new opportunities or yeah, these kind of things?
Industry level on an overall, I think it is very early
uh,
to assess like what is going to happen, because what we hear is there is going to be a lot of drop in the economy everywhere. So because
mhm.
even the political leaders, what they're saying is
Yeah.
it's it after World War II, this is the situation they are looking at, and
Mhm.
we can't disagree that the economy is not going down. Everywhere it is going to be, dis- uh,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's going to be bad for sure. But the good thing is right now people are prepared. People
Mhm.
know it's not about 2000
Like
or
it's coming
2009
to
recession.
suddenly. Yeah,
Exactly
we
that
already
time.
know that it's gonna happen.
Exactly when 2008 and 9 recession got hit, most of them are not aware, even let's say about Indian companies or Indian banking system, until it got hit the market. Nobody was
Mhm.
quite aware of it and nobody was prepared for it. But right now people are prepared, very well prepared, and they're already planning. The thing is, like, we are very intelligent creatures. We can just pull out from any kind of a situation. Okay, so I completely think
Yeah.
the leaders we have, they're going to come up with some programs, schemes, and all, and they'll make sure industry stays stabilized and nobody will get hurt. But we also need to take into point there will be some kind of a destruction will definitely happen,
Yeah.
and many people will lose jobs. Even right now, many people are already losing jobs.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but the industry perspective, how I going to assess is there will be a few industries which are going to boom, and there are few industries which are going to completely drop out. I mean, like, especially retail, it's going to get affected like anything. Okay, but if you look at logistics or telecom,
Mhm.
banking, these going to boom like anything, because this is the time for them to get into new products and digitalize people, and get them boarded on their products. So I think, like, there are good chances for some domains, and there are a few backdrops from few domains. But overall, I think 2 or 3 years we will definitely slowly see the effect. it's
Uh-huh.
not it's not like 2008 recession that we will see everything in 1 2 months, people losing jobs. But it will happen very slowly. As it happens slowly, gradually, people will definitely bring some schemes and
Mhm.
policies to bring it up. So I
Mhm.
think, yeah, we need to see it's very difficult to assess right now.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, Raj, thanks for your like time today and sharing all these like your experiences, knowledge with others. And yeah, like to the audience, I would like to know that here we try to discuss specifically today some topics related to software testing, software quality assurance, these kind of things. And we hope that our discussion like has given you some information, some guidelines which you can actually use to develop a career in the path. And if you have like any other questions, you can ask. We'll try to reply to those in like questions later. And I would like to like thanks Raj again for your time, and I'd like to let the audience know that Raj is a very good writer, and he like recently started sharing couple of like good articles in his like Medium profile. So if you guys want to learn more about like how Raj is sharing his knowledge, you can visit his like Medium page. There you will find like I would say like very good insights about software testing and his mindset. Like Raj said, that he's trying to move into more into product and management kind of things. So it would be great for you guys to like follow him there. So please follow him there. And yeah, that's it. We are almost at the end of today's episode. And yeah, Raj, thank you again very much. And maybe some days again we'll try to organize another session and discuss something more interesting. And yeah, thanks everyone who were like who joined for this session with us. Okay, before we like close up the session, I have another like last one
Yeah,
technical
sure.
question to ask to Raj. We just got these questions, and he just wanted to know like that a bit about API testing. So we talked about web testing and mobile application testing. So how it is different in API testing, and what's your say on this, Raj?
Okay, API is mostly we do this testing when we do the integration testing. As
Mhm.
you know about an API is an interface which is between two systems, right? So mostly we have in part of API testing, what we mostly discuss about the web services testing. Like we have different like SOAP and
Rest.
REST services.
Mhm.
So it depends upon your company which web services they are using. Okay, so I worked on both REST and web services. Usually for REST,
Yeah.
I usually used to use SOAP. SOAP, it comes in two versions. One is free and one is licensed version.
Mhm.
It's an automation tool to test the SOAP services. It can also be used to build an automation framework for SOAP and REST testing automation.
Uh-huh.
And coming to REST services, uh, if you want to do manually or even do automation, you can use Postman.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, Postman is the widely used tool for API testing.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Like we developers also use
yeah,
REST, a Postman for REST API testing and like quickly test our applications.
yeah. But the thing is, when you need to do an API testing, that is more important actually. So if
Mhm.
you talk about API testing, most companies they ignore API testing. What happens is you build a front end application, there is an API behind it, there is a database behind it, right? So when
Yeah.
it comes to testing, what happens is you tend to test more the UI side. Okay,
Yeah. True.
so you do for actions on your UI side, there is a bug, you will report to the developer. But the most important thing is how what is happening in the backend. So when your UI is calling, or like UI or any other system is calling an API, okay, what kind of a request is getting, what kind of a response it is sending, you also need to look into it. Okay,
Mhm.
so how can you do it? If your company, okay, when they're developing any kind of an API, they will have an API documentation for sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go to their API documentation and see what kind of an endpoints they have, and what are the request response parameters. Try to use the API services using Postman. Try to request and see the responses. Then you can find where is the bug really happening, how is the API response going and all. Okay, so to learn API testing, first of all, what I would prefer is, if your company is using, sorry, if your company is having REST or SOAP API,
Mhm.
go to their documentation and see, learn about their documentation, how many endpoints they have, what are they using. To do the API testing, use tools like Postman. If you want to do automation, you can also do from Postman. But if you are using SOAP web services, then better you go to a SOAP UI automation tool, which can help you.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Raj. Yeah, here I will also want to like share a couple of like aspects from like from a developer's perspective, that yeah, when we develop like REST APIs, most of the cases nowadays we use Postman, and when we are developing, we are using Postman too. And most of the cases, I would say like that in most of the cases you will see that there's a Postman collection available. So you can just import that and start testing from there. And as Raj said, that in Postman there's also sections where you can actually automate your test. And as far as I've seen, like in Postman, you just need some basic JavaScript knowledge that you can use to write some automated test in Postman.
Yeah, it is very easy. And also it is very important before doing an API testing to understand what is an API, how it works, what is the difference between API and a web service. Because even when you go to an interview, you think like you know about an API, but the basic questions they when they ask like what is the difference between API and web service, people get used to confused. Okay. So also learn, just don't do API testing, also learn what is an API, what is the difference between API and web service, what are the different types of web services are there. Learn these basic things before doing an API testing.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, I think yeah, we are almost close to end today's session. So at last, I would like to thanks everyone who joined this session, and thanks for helping us to conduct this session. And thanks Raj for your time. And yeah, before we end this week's session, we just let the audience know that next week at the same time will come I'll come live again with another guest. And next week we are going to have a software engineer who is working at Google. So his name is Kaji Shadlil Ridham. He's working as a software engineer in the site reliability engineering section at Google Dublin. So he will join us in our next session. So maybe we'll share more news about this in our page later tonight. So please subscribe to our channel and Facebook page and join our group to keep more get this kind of session updates. And you if you have any questions later, you can ask on our group. I hope that the resource persons who are taking these sessions, they will be kind enough to reply your questions there. So thanks everyone, and thanks Raj. Before we close or finish our session, if you have anything to say to the audience.
I like to thank all who has participated, and this is my first podcast session, I say, and I'm not sure how good I have answered your questions, but I at least tried. Maybe next time, or maybe you can write to me, or it would be better. I can give you a better answers maybe. But maybe me and I have one more resource actually. Maybe we can have another session and we can have more detail. Maybe this time we can have it at one place. Maybe next time after
Yeah,
this
yeah.
corona.
Yeah, that would be great, Raj, because these kind of sessions are mainly introductory sessions, I would say, where we are sharing knowledge. But I think the audience would be very eager to know, get into more technical, learn maybe deeply specific topics. So it would be always a pleasure for us to host you here and share your knowledge with the audience.
Yeah,
So yeah,
definitely, definitely. And
yeah.
I
So
also want to say one more thing. Actually, there are so many opportunities uh, abroad and also in within Asia and also abroad for QA, especially into automation. Okay, if anyone wants any help, maybe you can reach Suman or me. We can definitely help you in person. How can you get abroad opportunities, and how can you grow in testing career?
yeah, I agree with you, Raj. Maybe sometimes we'll try to generate some contents, or maybe you can write some article to let the audience know what's the procedure to get a job in the European countries. Yeah, and I would like to request the audiences to join our Facebook group. I think that would be a very good place to discuss more things in the future. And yeah, we'll try to respond there. Yeah. So everyone, I would like to thanks again, again and again to who have joined this session in this late night. Because it's I would say maybe it's a kind of a late night in our subcontinental time zone. So thank you everyone, and please everyone stay at home. Try to keep yourself and your family safe by staying at the home. And yeah, keep learning. And yeah, thanks. We will be always try to help you in your journey. Thanks everyone. And from Raj and Sumon, we are saying good night for today.
Good
Thanks.
night. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.